Should I give up or should I just keep chasing payments? Okay, that would have been a lot less cringe and a lot more entertaining if I could have sung it in tune, but you get the idea. This was my exact experience before using Assembly. Now I can make sure clients pay on time every time directly through their client portal. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you every way that you can charge your clients in Assembly, whether it's direct invoice, subscription, through your storefront, or through payment links, so that you can choose the method that is best for you and set it up with confidence. Now, before we touch anything billing related, we need to have two things in place. The first one is your payout account. This is how Assembly sends you money when clients pay their invoices. So what you can do is go to settings in the bottom left corner of your navigation, click on payout account, and make sure your bank account is connected. Card payments typically take between 2 to 5 business days, and it's worth noting that you can only charge in the currency that is connected to your bank account. So for me, based in the UK, I can only charge in British pounds. So if you skip this step, you can still create invoices or services, but you won't actually receive payments, so it's worth doing this first. Second is making sure that you have the payments app installed. So to check this, again, go to your navigation, look down the sidebar. If you can see payments, that's awesome, you're set up. If not, go to preferences, see apps library, add an app, select the payments app, install the app, and then that will be added to your sidebar. Now, if you've been a long time user of Assembly, this was a recent name change. This app used to be called Billing, so you might also see Billing in your sidebar. Same exact thing. This is what is going to allow you to manage payments directly through your client portal. Once those two things are done, you are ready to start billing. Now let's talk about setting up your services. You don't need to set your services up front. As we go through this, you'll see that you can always add custom line items or create new services on the fly when you are building an invoice or subscription. But if you have any kind of productized service with a fixed scope, fixed pricing, and a set billing period, it can be helpful to do this up front. Save yourself some time. That way it's ready to go and you can reuse it for each client. To create a service, you will go to your payments app, select on services along the top navigation, click on create a service, and here you can add your service details. So give it a name, an image, a description, and your price, and then you could set whether it's one time or recurring. Now, one thing to note is that once a service is created with a specific pricing type, that type is locked in. So if you accidentally create a retainer as a one-time service, you'll need to create a new offer and then add it as the correct type, and then you can always delete the old one if it's no longer relevant and you haven't invoiced anyone using that method. Now, you can also add multiple prices to a single service. So let's say you do have that retainer and you have a monthly payment option, but you also have a quarterly payment option. Both offers can live under that one service. Now, I go into all of this in more detail in my Productizing Your Services video. I'll include a link to that below. For now, let's move on to the billing methods themselves. Method 1 is direct invoicing. The simplest way to charge your client is through a direct invoice. This is your flexible and manual approach. To set it up in Assembly, go to Payments and then Invoices. Click Create Invoice. Select the contact or company under recipient. Add your line items. These can be services you've already created, or you can add a custom line item on the fly. You can then select your payment method. So if you are automatically charging the client, it means the client has added their card, it's on file, and then you can just automatically charge them. The alternative is to notify your client to pay manually. And this is typically when there isn't a card on file. So the client will be notified about an open invoice. You will set the due date. And then again, you could still click in and manage your payment preferences. So who is absorbing that fee? You can always add a memo or any attachments if needed, and then you can click send invoice in the top right corner. Once sent, that client will see that invoice within their portal. They'll have a notification prompting them to pay. If you have the setting turned on for email notifications, they will also receive an email notification and they can pay directly through that. They will be able to download both their invoice and their receipt if needed, and you will receive a notification on the back end letting you know when that payment has been received. Now, direct invoices are great to use when the amount or the time between each project changes, when it's a one-off charge, or when you need to bill for something outside of your standardized packages. So these are a little bit more manual in nature, but sometimes that's necessary, especially as a service provider. Now let's talk about method 2, subscriptions. If a client is on a recurring plan, then subscriptions automate the billing cycle so that you don't have to manually send an invoice each time. Such a blessing if you do any kind of retainer work. To set this up, you will again go to payments, but this time select subscriptions, create a subscription, select the recipient, whether it's a contact or company, and then again add your line items, either selecting an existing service or you can create a new service. And then under billing, here is where you would choose your billing frequency. You can then select the start date, whether it's immediate on the first day of the month, or you can select a custom date, and then you would choose the end date. So if this is ongoing, there is no end date and you would just go in and cancel it when needed. Custom cycles, if you want to do 6 cycles or a 6-month retainer, you can set that up. Or if it's a very specific date in your calendar, you can mark it as so. Again, similar to direct invoices, you would select your payment method if you want to automatically charge the contact if they have a payment method on file, or you can notify them to pay manually. You then create a subscription in the top right hand corner, and that subscription will take effect immediately. The client again will receive their invoices in their portal as well as email notifications if you have set that up. And that will recur on whatever billing cycle that you have created that subscription with. Now, if the scope changes at any point in time, sometimes it does, you can always edit the subscription, update the line items or the billing cycle. So let's say a client starts off as monthly and they want to move to quarterly or vice versa. You can easily do that within Assembly. The key difference between invoices and subscriptions is that subscriptions run on autopilot. Once it's set up, you don't have to think about it again until something changes. There's no chasing, there's no remembering to send an invoice on the first of the month or however often you do it, and it's perfect if you offer retainers. If you can encourage your clients to add a payment method on file, it means they're automatically getting invoiced, automatically getting charged, it's taken care of, and like I said, you can just focus on delivering the best work possible to your clients. Now, the third method is setting up your store. In Assembly, you can set up a browsable storefront where clients can see all your services, choose what they need, and then purchase directly. Now, I covered setting up your store and productizing your services in a separate video, so I'll link to that below. But here's the quick version. Again, you're going to go to Payments, Store, and then Create Store. Here, you can then add your services in. These are the services you created earlier when we were setting that all up. When you are adding services, pay attention again to whether they are one-time or recurring. One-time services are that single purchase. Your recurring services are those subscriptions. So when a customer buys, they will automatically be added to that subscription and the billing period attached. Then once you've added all your services, you can go ahead and hit publish. Here you can decide how you want to display your storefront. So you have the option of adding it to your client portal. That way it will display in your client's portal. They can click through, browse, add their services. You can also display it as a public page. So you can link out to this on social media or with potential buyers, and they can automatically sign up for your services that way as well. Or you could choose both. Why not both? What happens when someone purchases depends on whether they are an existing client or not. So if they are an existing client and they're purchasing from your store within their client portal, their invoice will just be added to their invoices tab and you will be notified that they've purchased that item. And then you can then follow up with them depending on how onboarding looks for that service. If they are a new client and let's say they are purchasing through Instagram, they click on the link, they see your storefront, they choose use their service, they sign up, they will go through checkout, and then Assembly will automatically create a portal account for them and send them an invitation. Once they log in, they will be added to their client portal, and there's no real manual setup on your end. So you don't need to worry about setting up a client portal for them. You're just sharing that link and it will all happen automatically. Again, in the description, you'll find a link to that full tutorial where I do a deep dive into using your Assembly storefront. This is a really great option if you want clients to be self-serve, so sign up automatically without your involvement. If you want to productize your services, so have a fixed scope, fixed price, fixed process. And if you want new clients to onboard and pay in a single step without your involvement. And again, that depends on what your service is. It's easy to idolize all of these automated onboarding processes, but it depends what you offer. Sometimes that conversation is necessary. And this whole video is about deciding which option is best for you. And that brings us to the fourth method, which is payment links. So payment links are individual URLs that you can generate for a specific service. So in this case, you would need to have your services set up first, but then once you've done that, you can create a payment link for each service and you can drop these anywhere. The difference between a payment link and your storefront is that a payment link takes someone directly to the checkout of a specific item. So rather than linking to your store where they can browse all their different offers and then they can click on the item they want and purchase, a payment link is for a specific service that you're linking to. And when you share this link and they click on it, it will go directly to the checkout. Now to set this up, you again go to payments and then payment links, select on the service that you want to link to. You can then copy the generated URL and then share it wherever you need. Like I said, you can put it in your website, an email, a social post, or a DM. Whenever someone clicks the link, they will pay and they will land directly in your client portal. Now, there are a few use cases for payment links. The first one is when you have, say, a website or a landing page, you want people to buy now and you want to link directly through to that checkout page. This is a great option. They're going to go on your website, click buy now, it will take them directly through to checkout and they will land directly in your client portal. So easy, so simple, love it. The second use case is if you are in a conversation with someone, maybe through email or direct messages, and you're talking about a particular service, and you can say, hey, you could sign up here. Again, takes them directly through to the checkout. And then the third use case is when you're not trying to give them options. You know exactly what they need. You want to be able to link it directly. So if we think about, say, even like a presentation, at the end, you might have a QR code, link it to your payment link, and it will take them directly to checkout. So you're selling very intentionally and directly. As you can see, the great thing about Assembly is it meets us where we're at as service providers. There is a number of billing methods to choose from depending on our offers, our billing periods, our funnels, and our setup. But what's great is from the client's perspective, it's really simple and intuitive. All they need to do is click into the payment section of their sidebar at any time. Here they will be able to see their invoices, their payment history, any active subscriptions in place. They can also add or update that payment method that we were talking about so that they can be charged directly through their client portal. Now, if you have not been using a dedicated client portal software, what this really translates to is no more scattered invoices and email threads, no lost invoices or how do I pay or how does this work messages, and no more chasing payments every week. It takes up too much time. We don't have that kind of time. Everything lives within your client's portal and they're able to access at any given point in time. What I personally love about it is that the conversation around money and finances and invoices is no longer the elephant in the room. I like it when I could just charge my client, they pay, taken care of, and we can focus on the project or the task at hand and really getting excited and moving that forward. I hope this has been helpful and cleared up any confusion around billing in your Assembly client portal. If you haven't yet used Assembly and you would like to check it out, you can click on the link in the description that will access a free 14-day trial. And if you use it and you love it, you're like, Yes, I'm ready to sign up. When you click to purchase, you can use the code Chloe at checkout to access $100 off of your plan. As always, if you have any questions at all or you're not sure what billing method works best for you, feel free to leave a comment. I love when you do. And until next time, have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world.